So back in virtual desktop, the last video was kind of going over an overview of how I was going to set up RetroBat connected to a NAS with a large ROM library. And I was kind of, I'm thinking about how to get it to, be fast and also, I guess, not abuse the NAS too much. But the thing I was looking at there was for using the game list files, and that is working good so far. I think I'm going to like that approach. And then the other thing that was new is the SMB3 Multichannel. So I'm going to look at that a little bit more today. If you, in PowerShell, I run git SMB client configuration. So the ones I'm looking for here are enable multi-channel is true. And then some of the stuff that I've seen that like you might try to speed it up even more is to do like require security signature. Looks like it defaults to true. So you could turn that, looks like you could turn that off with a set SMB client configuration. And require encryption is already false. So it seems like that would maybe slow it down. But those, not seeing anything else jumping out at me, but the initial check is fine, and then you might turn off the security stuff. But I mean, my other video, I think I was talking about getting rid of all the viruses from the ROM set or anything that was flagged, even if it's a false positive. I mean, I'm not turning off security checks either. That's for performance. So I wouldn't do that. But now we're going to try different, a couple different scenarios of like what would be a required performance for hosting ROMs on a NAS. So one thing is loading a large ROM. So the worst case scenario I have right now is God of War 3 is an ISO for PS3. It's 36 gig. And we're just going to start this for now. It's going to use a smaller 10 gig ISO. And it creates a 4 meg buffer. And it just starts, it's using PowerShell and some C# to read in this file. And I mean, not every ROM is like launcher is going to load files the exact same way. So depending on how, like, even if they had like a smaller buffer, it might not max out your network's read speed. And this one may not be adequate either. Like this one though, if I try to use this command, measure command, get content, literal path, ISO, and I'm just going to null. I'm not actually writing it to disks, and same for here. It's just to memory because I don't want I do have SSD on my PC. I don't have SSD on my NAS, but I don't want that SSD speed affecting it at all. I just want to see. I'm just testing transfers right now. And I can't run this one. I run out of RAM. I think I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. I run out of I run out of memory if I try to do God of War. I get insufficient memory, so this is why I'm doing this other command with a 4 meg buffer. So let's kick this one off. So it's running, and now if we go into Task Manager, so I've got 2 Ethernets hooked up on my PC. The built-in is a 2.5 gig, and then I added another PCIe card of 2.5 gigabits. And so I'm getting 400 megabits per second basically on both of them. So that's divided by 8. That's 50 megabytes. So I'm getting 100 megabytes total, which is good. Let's run these commands while this is going on. I may have to kick this one off again. I was talking too much. Okay, so let's try to run this one as administrator. Okay, so it shows that I have a connection to my server, and let's run this one too if I can get it in time. Okay, this all looks great. So I've got a connection and I've got SMB 3.11. That's what I've got here. And then down below for the multi-channel connections, it's showing that I've got which one's which? So my client, so this is, I guess, is my, yeah, this is my PC IP addresses for each NIC, 2.5 gigabits. And then on my NAS, I have, it's got 4 connections, but I only have 2 wired to the switch. And so it's mapping each one of the PC cards to a Ethernet NIC on the Synology. So, I mean, this looks, I think this is what you want for, to show, this is showing the SMB3. Along with this, I can see both Ethernets going, but this is also another way of seeing that both Ethernets are going. And then further, if I logged into my NAS, I would see that it's running as well, and the math adds up where this is 400 megabits. The math on my NAS is showing that each one of its Ethernets is doing 50 megabytes. So I'm getting 100 megabytes total. So now, I don't think we need to see that anymore. And then I get some timings out of this. So this was, we see that took 113 seconds. The other scenario is if I'm browsing the ROM's media, so it's a bunch of smaller files. So this is a command to basically say, copy a bunch of small images over. It's not writing to disk. I want 16 threads going at the same time. Again, that could be totally different per launcher, how many threads they've got actually reading. So 16 may be excessive, but this location, it was the Launchbox images on the pprint drive, has 6 gigabytes 90K files. I think that's a adequate sample. So I can run that and you see the same thing. It's hydrating both Ethernets. It's not, since it's doing a bunch of smaller files, it's not, getting up to 400 megabits per second. But both of them are being used. So this is where I think maybe having multiple NICs is more useful, but not entirely sure. And that'll complete. We could do the same things here and see that it's still running the connection. So that took 41 seconds. The next option was then to do, so I've got a couple of ways of doing SMB3 multi-channel. We'll look at the results below. I pre-baked them. But then the other option is to do NFS. NFS is more Linux thing, Unix thing. And I've used it on an Android device before. It's disabled on Windows 11. You can enable it by going add or remove features and enable the NFS client. And then my NAS server can also let me set up a NAS drive. It has a file system services, and so I just have SMB on, and the change I made to it is that it's now SMB3 and it's allows SMB3 multi-channel. You can also then enable NFS service, but I am not doing this because the NFS multi-service, well, adding NFS, well, it's not multi-channel, it'd be single channel, but it might mess up. I mean, it's got more like Unix permissions instead of like the SMB permissions I've got now. So I mean, I've got all those files copied over from the drive on my NAS. I've got them working fine. I don't want to mess with those file permissions. And I'm skeptical that NFS would beat this. I definitely see. I'm really liking multi-channel for its flexibility. I definitely see it as and just SMB working so good with Windows. It's what I'm going to stick with. So I did not do the NFS test. I might set up another file system at some point that I don't care about those files. But for now, I didn't have that. And, maybe some other time if I'm convinced, but not right now. So I did some different tests. So I did SMB3. This is a channel. This is a test we're doing like right now. This is a setup I've got right now. My NAS has two 1 gigabit Ethernet ports, and that's where we saw they got mapped 1-to-1. And my PC has two 2.5 gigabits. So my speed earlier that was over a remote desktop instead of me also being remoted in with a virtual reality. As I got 100 seconds on the large, transferring the large ISO, and then 42 seconds on the 90,000 small images. Then the thing was, well, what if I keep my NAS on multi-channel, 2 by 1 gigabits, and then I just dropped down to just one Ethernet connection on the PC. So I got rid of disconnected the second Ethernet card. So the same results, 100 seconds, 41 seconds. I wasn't sure, like I kind of was, I thought that may be the case since I don't have 2.5 gigabits on the NAS, but that was the case. Then just going to SMB without multi-channel. So my NAS with a single 1 gigabit connection and the PC with a single 2.5 gigabits. So it actually, though, was very similar. It was a little bit slower on the large ISO file. I don't know, 15%. And, but the small files were effectively the same with this RoboCopy. So not a huge win either way. I do think I will stick with this setup with the multi-channel on the NAS, but not on the PC. Again, then I did not test NFS. And I think if I actually wanted to get faster speeds than these two, what I think I would need to do, my NAS is older. I just can't, I'm not able to get 2.5 gigabits on my older NAS at all. So I'd either have to upgrade NAS, which is, multi hundreds of dollars, or the other option, I think, which would maybe be closer to, lower $100, is I get a switch that had more ports on it. So then I could do 4 1 gigabit channels from the NAS, and also 4 1 gig, like, or 4 2.5 or 4 1 gigabits, whatever, from the PC. And then it would map. Then instead of just showing 2 mappings from client to server, I'd have 4. And potentially that additional 2 1 gigabits from the server would, improve these speeds. But I don't know that for sure. Something else may be coming into play to slow it down, or just basically keep it at these same speeds that I'm topping out at right here. I think that's it here. Let's just go look at it in practice now. And all right, so my worst case scenario is PS3. Where is it? And it's going to be the threes. God of War and Uncharted 3. I forgot my alphabet. All right, God of War 3. Let's see how fast this loads. PPU, SPU. Didn't like restart. Let's try this again. PPU, SPU. Okay, so I did make sure that this was working earlier. That just seems I'm gonna kill out of it. So I killed it. I mean, that's fast. So I converted the PS3 folders to ISOs to reduce the file size. I was a little worried it was going to have to pull the full ISO file over. But now I'm thinking about it. It's maybe just, I mean, the DVDs or well, I forget what was PS3 Blu-ray even. I guess they would have had slow read speed anyways. And I doesn't have to read the entire disk at once. So it's only reading part of the ISO. I guess it's just, I was thinking the ISO loaders would have to have the full ISO. But that does not appear to be the case. I have not loaded Uncharted. Let's see if I can find that. Hopefully it showed up in my parsing. Let's try this one. This one is I've never ran, so this will be entirely clean. This is 13 minutes. Bad estimate. Or maybe it was a good estimate. Still pretty quick. Am I in? I'm in. Okay. I'm going to kick out. So I guess it builds up a cache. For a fresh start for a large game like that, I'm pretty pleased. If I go back to God of War, is it still going to be fast, or will its cache have been reset? Or does it keep both caches? Let's see. No, it's got cached. Kick out. And to be super, yeah. All right, so it's just that one-time hit, and then you're golden. Not bad at all. All right, so the next, those are, I think, around 35 gig ISO files. Some of the other ones are, let's try a different system. Is I converted the Wii U. Oh, Nintendo's up. I don't like the alphabet. I don't like the alphabet. I'm searching for the alphabetical listing of like the Wii or the Wii U instead of by develop like Nintendo or Sony. I don't know if there's a way I can sort by that way. But the Wii U, the big files here are NBA and Xenoblade. So I haven't tried these. Oh, that crashed. I think. Try again. Warm it up. No, crashed. Okay, that's not a good test. I did convert them to the WUA, which I think is the Windows, no, Wii U archive format, not Windows. And now I'm looking for a Xenoblade. I think these are around 18 gigabytes, so about half the size of Uncharted and God of War. Oh, this one seems to be loading. No, do not connect. How do I? Yeah, offline. I mean, it's working. How do I get out of here? I don't know what this game's about at all. Alright, exiting. So that was pretty good. Yeah, quite happy with that. That's all.